Many people believe that being poor only means not having enough money, but in truth it starts with the way a person thinks. Certain thoughts can quietly destroy your chances of growing and improving your life. It's not the government, your parents, your degree, or even bad luck that decides how far you'll go. It's your mindset, your daily choices, and the actions you take every single day. Real wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your mind first. Every routine you repeat either builds your future or breaks it. If you're struggling with money right now, it doesn't mean you're doomed to stay that way. It simply means you haven't yet changed the behaviors that keep you stuck. And here's the important part. It's never too late to turn things around. Everything begins with a firm choice to take a different path. Discipline, continuous learning, and focused effort can break any cycle of failure. Success isn't about luck or random chance. It's the natural result of doing the right things again and again, without giving up. It's not how much you earn that defines your prosperity, but what you do with what you have. That's the illusion most people fall into. If you can't handle 100 wisely, you won't be able to handle 1,000, 10,000, or even 1,000,000. Money doesn't change a person's true nature. It only reveals it more clearly. Someone who's careless will become even more careless with more money. Someone who's disciplined will become even more successful. The Stoics already understood this truth. Real freedom begins when you learn to control your impulses, see the world without lies, and make choices guided by wisdom instead of emotion. That's exactly what you'll discover here. The habits that keep people trapped in poverty and how to remove them from your life once and for all. If this message speaks to you, write in the comments, "Today I choose to prosper." Every transformation begins with a single decision, and yours can happen right now. Before we move on, I just ask you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way, more people can benefit from this message. Now let's get started. Habit 1. Thinking that learning is over. Stopping learning is like leaving a flower without sunlight. At first it looks fine, but little by little it loses life until it can't bloom anymore. In our fast-changing world, those who don't keep growing end up stuck in the past. It's not bad luck. It's just refusing to update yourself. Learning isn't about showing off or collecting certificates. It's about keeping your mind open and improving a bit every day. It means being brave enough to ask, what could I learn that would get me closer to the life I dream of? Or, how much is my lack of knowledge costing me right now? When knowledge is missing, mistakes multiply, and every mistake takes something from you. Picture someone who spends 20 years doing the same task in the same job. It feels safe at first, but then the world changes, technology evolves, and one day they realize they're left behind, with no new skills and no chances to move forward. That's how poverty begins, not from laziness, but from refusing to grow while everything else moves ahead. But the person who stays curious, who learns, adapts, and upgrades their mind each year, never stays stuck. While others complain about change, they move with it, because they see that every new lesson is a door to a better future. Most of the time, it's not the lack of money that keeps someone poor. It's the lack of useful skills. Knowing how to communicate, manage money, sell, negotiate, or plan better. These are things anyone can learn. What separates those who have these skills from those who don't isn't luck or age, but the habit of ignoring curiosity and feeding distraction instead. Make learning something you do every day, not just when you have time. Start small. Read 15 minutes daily and pick books that challenge the way you think. Turn boring moments into lessons. Listen to audio courses while you clean, drive, or exercise. That way, wasted minutes turn into steps forward. Set a clear goal. Learn one new skill every 3 months. You don't need to master it completely. Just learn enough to grow your abilities and prove to yourself that you can always improve. And every night ask yourself, what did I learn today that I can use tomorrow? This simple question keeps your mind active and your progress constant. Now comes the secret ingredient, curiosity. You only start growing again when you have the courage to ask questions, to explore, and to look foolish for a while. Progress demands self-trust, the strength to accept that mistakes are part of the journey, Those who never fail, never learn. Those who never try, never move forward. Curiosity is the spark that turns fear into the excitement of discovery. It's this spark that lights the path out of limitation. More valuable than money, learning gives you confidence. Each new thing you master reminds you that you are capable. You stand taller, your presence matters, and new doors begin to open. Learning is the fastest way to become someone impossible to overlook. Ignorance steals your time, your peace, and your future. Knowledge gives it all back. It's the tool that transforms effort into progress. If you want a fuller, freer life, start by feeding your mind. Because everything that grows inside you will, in time, begin to grow outside of you too. Habit 2. Talking more than acting. There's a kind of poverty that doesn't come from lack of money, but from lack of execution. Many people spend their lives speaking about what they will do, the goals, the plans, the someday that never arrives. They talk as if words could build the life they dream of, but words without action are just smoke. The more they speak, the less they move. The illusion of progress becomes their comfort zone. They feel productive while standing still. But life doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, you lose a little trust in yourself. You break an invisible promise, and your mind remembers. That's how self-doubt begins. Not because others don't believe in you, but because you stopped believing in your own word. Discipline dies quietly, killed by over-explaining and underdoing. Talking becomes a substitute for effort, and the voice of action fades into the background. It often starts innocently. You tell your friends about a new project, you feel proud, and their approval gives you a small hit of satisfaction, as if you've already succeeded. But that pleasure steals your hunger to act. Your brain rewards the announcement instead of the achievement. That's why great thinkers warned, never announce your next move. Do it first, speak later. The Stoics too understood this principle. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Words are powerful when used to express truth, but empty when used to avoid action. People who talk too much about change often do it to escape the pain of doing the work. It's easier to describe a better version of yourself than to become it. And so they drown in analysis, research, and self-talk, mistaking movement of the mouth for movement of the soul. But the world doesn't change because you spoke about it. It changes when you move your hands, your feet, your will. Think about it. Every major transformation in history, every invention, every breakthrough, came from someone who spent more time in silence than in speech. The artist who paints instead of promising, the writer who finishes instead of dreaming, the worker who builds instead of boasting. They all share one thing in common: they let their results speak louder than their explanations. If you find yourself talking about your goals more than working on them, pause and ask, who are you trying to convince, others or yourself? Real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and proven through repetition. Each completed action says more than 1,000 speeches ever could. Try this. For 30 days, stop telling anyone what you're planning. Just work. Don't post about it. Don't announce it. Don't seek validation. Pour all that energy into execution. Then when results appear, you won't need to prove anything, they'll speak for you. The silence of work has its own voice, and it's louder than noise. Remember, words are easy. They cost nothing. But action, consistent, disciplined, quiet action, demands sacrifice, patience, and integrity. That's why so few choose it. Most people are performers, only a few are builders. The talker impresses for a moment, the doer leaves a mark. Every time you act instead of explain, you reclaim your power. You tell your mind, I am a person of proof, not promises. And with every kept promise, your inner voice grows stronger, steadier, more trustworthy. That's how you build the kind of confidence that doesn't need applause. Silence, when combined with discipline, becomes your greatest weapon. Speak less, execute more. Let your focus become your message. In a world full of noise, the person who moves quietly will always rise the highest. Remember, the loudest person in the room rarely leads it. The one who builds in silence does. Habit 3. Spending more than you earn. This is the habit that keeps most people chained to poverty. The scary thing is that many don't even realize they're doing it. The moment money arrives, it already has a destination. Bills, credit cards, impulse shopping. And once again, life becomes a cycle of struggle, without savings, without peace, without safety. In this situation, one small surprise is enough to make everything fall apart. But it's not your fault for thinking this was normal. Since childhood, almost everyone has been taught to spend, not to build. We learn to show instead of save, to buy on feelings instead of using reason. The danger is that this behavior looks harmless, but works like an invisible prison. Every unnecessary subscription, every late-night food delivery, every extra item you buy adds one more stone to the pile. At first, it feels like nothing. But over time, it grows heavier until it crushes your freedom. And what hides behind all this? The wish to have everything now, the hunger for quick pleasure, even when the cost is stress later. Many people grew up hearing things like, money doesn't grow on trees or the rich are greedy. These words get stuck in the mind and start sounding like truths. Little by little, you begin to think that money is rare, dangerous, or only for others. That's the hidden poison. Spending more than you earn isn't fate. It's a habit created by wrong thinking. But here's the bright side. Anything learned can be unlearned. Once you change how you see money, you change how money behaves around you. The first step is simple. Look honestly at your finances. Write down every expense, even the tiniest one. Watch your habits for 30 days. No excuses, no hiding, no skipping. You'll start seeing patterns, automatic spending, and little escapes that drain your energy and calm. You might even think, writing down every coffee? That's overdoing it. But it's not exaggeration, it's awareness. It's not about the coffee, it's about what that coffee represents. Think about a builder. Each day a few nails or tiles disappear, a small loss here, a missing bag of cement there. Would you ignore it just because it seems small? Or would you find out what's happening before the whole project goes wrong? Your financial life works the same way. Every detail matters. What seems small today can decide whether you stay stuck or move forward. Change starts with seeing clearly. And real change means choosing differently, delaying the craving, saying no, not because you can't, but because you choose something better. Each time you save even a tiny bit, you send yourself a message. My future is worth more than my urge right now. That message, repeated day after day, begins to reshape who you are. Managing your money is really about managing yourself. It's learning discipline, self-respect, and balance. Think about it. The real problem isn't how much you make, but how you use what you have. If you spend everything today, even if you earn twice as much tomorrow, you'll still end up empty. Money doesn't bring peace, control does. Without discipline, a bigger paycheck just brings bigger problems. But when you start planning, saving, and spending with purpose, any amount becomes enough to grow. True wealth doesn't start with how much enters your pocket. It starts with how much stays, grows, and serves your goals. In the end, poverty isn't just about having no money. It's about having no order, no direction, and no respect for your own tomorrow. The first step to break free is this: stop spending more than you make. When you decide to live below your means, you stop being trapped by the moment and start designing the future you deserve. Habit 4. Outsource responsibility. Think about how many movies, stories, or biographies you've seen where the main character seemed to have no chance. People born with nothing, kids without families, forgotten workers stuck in small jobs. Almost all of them had one thing in common. At some point, they stopped blaming the world and decided to take control of their own story. That's the moment everything changes, the moment that separates an ordinary life from an extraordinary one. When you blame the government, your boss, your parents, your city, or bad luck, you hand away your own power. Those who complain stay stuck. Those who take charge rise. Taking full responsibility doesn't mean attacking yourself or saying it's all my fault until you feel worthless. Many people get this wrong. They confuse responsibility with guilt. They drag the weight of old mistakes, feel ashamed, and think that punishing themselves means they're being responsible. But that doesn't free them, it traps them even more. People who live in guilt stay chained to the past, feeding a kind of inner poverty that keeps them small. Real responsibility is something completely different. It's not a punishment, it's strength. It's not "I'm guilty," it's "I have control." It means that even if you don't like the results of your past, you can still choose to plant new seeds today. This kind of thinking opens every locked door. Stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did I do or not do that led me here? What can I control right now? What's one hard but useful step I can take today to change direction?" Yes, life can be unfair. Yes, the system often fails. But ask yourself, why do some people stay stuck while others, with even fewer resources, manage to move forward? The difference isn't the situation, it's the reaction. Waiting for the world to change before you act is the most expensive form of delay. True freedom comes only to those brave enough to steer their own ship. Here's the truth. Most people don't want to face. Poverty isn't only a situation. It's an identity that some people choose without realizing it. When you see yourself as small, everything in your life starts to shrink. You spend without thinking, hang around people who hold you back, stop learning, make excuses, and keep saying, "One day I'll start." But no matter how good a plan is, identity always wins. Imagine two people lose their jobs. One blames everyone, the boss, the company, the economy. The other decides to learn something new, offer services, and keep trying. Who builds a new future? The one who complains or the one who acts? The difference isn't what happened, it's how they responded. This is one of the strongest lessons from Stoicism. Separate what you can control from what you can't. Complaining about what's beyond your control means losing twice. Focusing only on what's in your hands is the only way to win. Take charge of what belongs to you, your actions, your habits, your choices. The real change begins in front of the mirror. I am not what happened to me. I am what I decide to be from today on. That's not a pretty quote, it's a battle cry. It's raising your standards, keeping your promises, protecting your mind, and rewriting your own story. Money is just a result. What truly supports your life is character, vision, and self-discipline. Never forget, the world doesn't honor excuses, it reacts to decisions. When your inner world changes, your outer world starts to follow. Maybe not right away, maybe not tomorrow, but it will, because the world always answers those who stop blaming and start building. The day you take full responsibility will be your turning point. The moment you stop being poor inside, long before your wallet shows it. That's when a new identity is born. Take complete responsibility, and the world will finally begin to respond to you. Habit 5. Refusing to forgive, carrying invisible weights. Some people spend years chasing peace while dragging the very chains that keep them from finding it. They don't realize that resentment is a form of self-imprisonment, a punishment that never ends. Holding on to anger feels powerful at first. It makes you believe you're in control, that you're protecting yourself from those who hurt you. But the truth is far more painful. Every time you replay the wound, you let it own you again. You relive the past, while the one who hurt you keeps moving forward, untouched. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think it means approving what happened, letting the guilty go free, pretending it didn't matter. But forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. It's the conscious decision to stop giving the past authority over your present. It's not saying, "What you did was right." It's saying, "What you did will no longer control me." Because as long as you hold on to the wound, it keeps bleeding into every part of your life. Your energy, your focus, your relationships, your joy. The Stoics taught that anger is a kind of madness. Seneca wrote that it makes us slaves to emotion and robs us of reason. And that's exactly what resentment does. It distorts your vision. You start seeing everything through the lens of what hurt you. You become defensive, bitter, suspicious. Your heart closes, and the more you hold on, the heavier you become. What began as a single moment of pain turns into a lifetime of carrying invisible weights. To forgive is not weakness, it's strength. It takes courage to release what you've been carrying for years. Anyone can stay angry, only the brave can let go. Forgiveness doesn't erase memory, it transforms it. It turns the wound into wisdom. It teaches you boundaries without bitterness, awareness without hate. And once you release that weight, you realize how much lighter your life becomes. You begin to breathe again, not just physically, but spiritually. Ask yourself, how many of your days have been stolen by a memory you refuse to release? How many smiles were lost because of something that can't be changed? Carrying resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're slowly destroying your own peace. Forgiveness is an act of clarity. It says, I refuse to live another day chained to what's already over. You can't step into your future while dragging the ghosts of your past. The moment you forgive, you create space for new people, new peace, new strength. You reclaim the energy you once wasted on what cannot be undone. If it feels impossible to forgive right now, start small. Don't force love. Begin with release. Write down the person or moment that still haunts you. Acknowledge the pain, then tell yourself, I don't need closure from them. I give it to myself. Read it until your chest softens, until your breath deepens, until you feel the grip of anger slowly loosen. It won't happen overnight. Forgiveness is not a moment, but a process. But every small step toward it is a step toward freedom. And here's the truth. When you finally let go, you're not losing anything valuable. You're only setting yourself free from what was never yours to carry. The past doesn't deserve permanent residence in your mind. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to release. The Stoics believed that serenity comes not from control, but from alignment with reality. Forgiveness is that alignment, accepting that what's done is done, and deciding to move forward lighter, wiser, freer. Because resentment chains you to yesterday, but forgiveness opens the door to tomorrow. So, when anger visits again, and it will, greet it with calm awareness. Don't fight it, but don't feed it. Remind yourself, peace is more important than pride. That simple sentence can save you years of carrying pain that no longer belongs to you. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. That's how you reclaim your strength, by releasing what was never meant to stay. Habit 6. Acting in desperation. Many people believe that acting fast means being effective, but there's a big difference between making a smart, clear decision quickly and acting without thinking. When fear of missing out, anger or anxiety take control, the decisions you make usually come with a heavy price. It can happen anywhere, when chasing a deal, arguing at home, or reacting to a problem at work. Acting in blind haste always leads to choices that bring regret later. Desperation works like a wildfire. It burns bright for a moment, but soon turns everything to ashes. People who live this way rarely build anything strong, because they're always reacting to life instead of calmly guiding their own actions. And that's exactly why so many stay stuck in financial and emotional poverty. Think for a second. How many times have you or someone you know spent money they didn't have just because they didn't want to miss an amazing chance? How many relationships have been damaged by angry words spoken too quickly just to release the tension of the moment? Every time that happens, it's another small step toward scarcity, because true success is born from thoughtful decisions, not impulsive ones. The opposite of desperation isn't slowness, it's clarity. It's the calm to breathe, wait a few seconds, look around, and respond wisely instead of reacting out of fear. This doesn't mean letting chances pass you by, but having the courage to separate emotion from awareness. The Stoics used to say that it's not what happens that harms us, but how we respond to it. And when your answer comes from panic, that panic becomes your real enemy, hiding behind speed. Those who learn to stop, think, and choose with calmness gain something very rare: control over themselves. And here's the truth. Desperate decisions almost always lead to loss, while clear and deliberate ones open the door to growth. The real difference between the two paths isn't in how much time you take, but in how awake your mind is when you decide. So starting now, slow down your rush, calm your emotions, and act with purpose. Because every desperate choice costs you something valuable, but every clear choice expands your freedom. Habit 7. Procrastinating what is important. Procrastination is a quiet thief. It doesn't just delay what you need to do, it slowly destroys your confidence, weakens your discipline, and steals the best moments of your life. It tricks you into thinking you're just waiting for the right time, but what you're really doing is avoiding effort, risk, and a bit of discomfort. The exact things that help you grow. It feels like you're in control, but you're actually giving your control away. Every time you delay a choice, you waste time, energy, and chances. You tell yourself, "I'll begin tomorrow," but that tomorrow never arrives. The fear of failing hides behind excuses that sound smart or safe. And while you wait for the perfect moment, life keeps moving without you. Bills keep coming, dreams slowly fade, and frustration builds. Procrastination is like sitting in a car with the engine running. You burn fuel, make noise, but go nowhere. You stay busy, but you don't move forward. It gives you a little comfort for now, but changes nothing in the long run. And here's a truth most people never face. You don't need to feel ready to act. It's the other way around. Action comes first and motivation follows. When you finally move, face what's uncomfortable, and take even a tiny step, that's when energy rises, courage grows, and progress starts. It means letting go of the idea of perfection. There's no perfect moment waiting for you. There's only the choice to begin now. That's the real difference between people who grow and those who stay stuck. The ones who move ahead decide fast, make mistakes, fix them, and keep going. The ones who stand still wait for guarantees that never appear. Think about how many chances you've lost because you hesitated, how many dreams stayed as ideas, how many friendships never started, how many goals never happened, all because you waited. The cost of waiting is always higher than the cost of trying. As Seneca said, "While we waste time delaying, life passes by." And that's exactly what procrastination does. It quietly steals your days until one day you look back and realize years have gone by and nothing changed. From today on, do things differently. Use your power to choose. The more you practice deciding, the less doubt will control you and the weaker procrastination becomes. Make one clear decision every day, even a small, scary one. Each brave choice sends a message to your mind. I'm not ruled by fear anymore. I'm someone who acts. That's how you break the trap. Procrastination keeps you poor because it keeps you frozen. Every decision, even the imperfect ones, makes you richer in wisdom and courage because each choice opens doors that waiting would have kept forever closed. Habit 8. Always think small. One of the most dangerous habits that keeps people stuck in poverty is thinking too small. At first, it might look like caution, logic, or even humility, but deep down it's nothing more than fear hiding behind excuses. Thinking small doesn't mean you don't have dreams. It means you only dream about what seems possible for where you are right now. You tell yourself that everything is okay, that at least you have a job, that others have it worse. But this kind of thinking kills your desire to grow, blocks your path, and puts out the fire that could move you forward. It's like building an invisible cage inside your own head. You don't even need other people to limit you because you repeat the same words every day. That's not for me. It's too hard. I'll never make it. Over time, these thoughts become your truth. Your life never becomes bigger than what you allow yourself to imagine. Picture a child who grows up seeing their parent lost in drinking and sadness. They might believe their life will be the same, that there's no way to change. But that's small thinking, letting the past decide the future. The truth is, anyone can break the chain and picture something greater. It's not about dreaming of impossible things. It's about giving yourself permission to imagine something higher, braver, and more meaningful. The mind always tries to act according to what it believes is possible. If you think small, you behave small. But if you dare to think big, your actions begin to match that vision. Never forget, thoughts are powerful. They command your reality. When you say, "I can't," your body freezes. When you say, "Maybe I can," something inside you wakes up and your choices start to grow. Thinking big isn't pride, it's honoring your true potential. The Stoics already taught this. They believed every human being is born to evolve, to rise, and to give something valuable to the world. Ignoring this natural calling is the same as agreeing to live a smaller life, one that hides your real strength. Growth is never comfortable, but that discomfort is proof that you're moving upward, to a place where the biggest rewards are waiting. And if you've read this far, it's because a voice inside you already whispers, "I can do more. I was made for more." Don't shut that voice down. Feed it. Surround yourself with people who dream big, read ideas that stretch your limits, and visit places that remind you not to settle for less. Take a notebook and write your goals, but this time, write the bold ones. The ones that make your hands shake, the ones that seem too hard, the ones you have no idea how to reach yet. That's not madness. It's the start of a real transformation. When you finally commit to a big dream, your mind begins to help you instead of holding you back. New people, new ideas, and new chances start showing up because you stopped shrinking yourself. Remember, you're not here to repeat your past. Thinking big means throwing away the old story and creating your own new chapter. Poverty isn't only about not having money, it's about not having vision. And wealth doesn't start with numbers, it starts in the mind. Your life will only grow as much as your dreams allow it to. Each time you aim higher, you prove that your past doesn't decide your future. Write this down. My way of thinking will never be the same again. Let that be your declaration, the moment you begin becoming who you were always meant to be. Habit 9. Living without clear goals. Not having clear goals is one of the most dangerous habits that keeps a person stuck in poverty. Living without direction is like sailing in a boat without a steering wheel, letting the wind and waves decide your path. You move a lot, but never arrive anywhere. In the end, the current drags your life far away from your dreams. No matter how hard you work or how talented you are, if your goals aren't clear, your energy spreads in all directions, and all that's left is tiredness. Those who live without goals spend their days just paying bills, solving problems, and following what others say. They keep reacting to life instead of building something that lasts. But the moment you decide on a real goal, everything changes. Your mind wakes up, your choices make sense, and your routine begins to take shape. Suddenly, you know what to focus on and what to ignore, what brings growth and what only wastes your time. And here's an important truth. A goal is not just a vague wish like, "I want more money" or "I want to be happier." A true goal is specific. It has numbers, a deadline, and a strong reason behind it. It pushes you beyond comfort, forcing you to grow stronger and smarter. It's not always pleasant, but that discomfort is the seed of progress. A person with no goal is like a house without a plan. Anything fits, every fear enters, and any excuse feels justified. But someone with clear goals lives with direction, focus, and strength. Those who set goals wake up knowing what they want, face challenges with courage, and attract good things because people can sense when someone carries purpose. Don't let life decide for you. Take a sheet of paper and write it down. How much do you want to earn? How long will it take? What steps will you take every single day to get there? Read this before touching your phone each morning. Close your eyes and picture your goal already achieved. This simple act reignites your motivation when it starts to fade. People without goals drift like leaves in the wind. People with goals shape their own road. Your life shouldn't be random. It should be designed. And every design begins with a firm choice. But there's something else you should know. If you've been trying to leave your comfort zone and grow but always feel stuck, there might be something hidden holding you back. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a silent snake that creeps in slowly, wrapping itself around you without warning. It makes you uneasy for days, months, or even years. Living with it is like carrying an invisible illness all the time. But there is a way out. The Stoic philosophers, and even modern psychology, discovered powerful ways to calm this storm inside. I went through it myself and managed to overcome it. I recorded a video showing exactly how you can free yourself from this anxious feeling. Check the first comment. Click the link there and start healing from this weight today. Habit 10. Escaping discomfort instead of growing through it. Most people think they're tired of life, when in truth, they're only tired of discomfort. Every time something feels difficult, they run. Every time pressure builds, they escape. And in that escape, they lose the very thing that could make them strong. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's the place where growth hides, waiting for those who dare to stay. But today, almost everyone is addicted to comfort. We've built lives designed to avoid friction, endless scrolling, instant food, quick pleasure, constant distraction. These things numb you just enough to make you forget you're stuck. Each time you run from discomfort, you silently tell yourself, "I'm not capable of handling this." Over time, your brain starts to believe it. You begin to shrink around your fears. The muscle of discipline weakens. Your mind becomes fragile, always chasing the path of least resistance, a life that looks safe but feels empty. That's how strength dies, not with pain but with avoidance. What once could have been a challenge that shaped you becomes a wound that limits you. The Stoics understood that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to wake early and endure cold mornings to remind his body who was in command. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that the pain of effort is temporary, but the pain of surrender lasts forever. Discomfort, when embraced, becomes sacred. It burns away illusion and forces truth to appear. Without it, you never meet the stronger version of yourself that only appears under pressure. Think of metal in the fire. It bends, glows, and changes shape. It doesn't break because of the heat. It becomes useful because of it. The same happens to you. When you stay through the burn, through the awkward silence, through the fear of failure, something inside you begins to shift. The mind learns that pain is information, not punishment. Every challenge becomes an invitation. Will you run again, or will you stay long enough to evolve? Discomfort is the doorway to every form of freedom, financial, emotional, and spiritual. You can't build wealth if you run from hard work. You can't find peace if you avoid solitude. You can't grow love if you flee from vulnerability. Each escape is a delay, each distraction a debt you'll pay later in regret. But every time you choose to stay present through discomfort, you're teaching your nervous system something powerful. I can survive this. I can grow through this. That's how resilience is built, not by avoiding storms, but by walking through them with your eyes open. Start small. Delay one impulse today. Resist one urge to check your phone. Sit quietly when your mind screams for escape. Breathe. Feel the discomfort and stay. The moment you stop running, it starts losing its power over you. You'll realize that most of your suffering came not from the challenge itself, but from the effort of avoiding it. True peace doesn't come from comfort, it comes from mastery. The man who can sit calmly in chaos owns himself. And when you own yourself, nothing external can own you again. Remember this, comfort is where dreams go to die quietly. Growth begins the moment you decide to stop escaping. Your task isn't to avoid pain, but to use it. Every time you face discomfort with awareness, you sharpen your will. You build the courage that money can't buy and comfort can't teach. The strongest people aren't those who had it easy. They're the ones who made pain their classroom and turned discomfort into discipline. From now on, when the urge to run appears, whisper to yourself, I stay, I grow here. That single decision, to stay with what hurts, is how freedom begins. Habit 11. Comparing yourself instead of improving yourself. Comparison is one of the most subtle forms of self-sabotage. It doesn't scream or destroy your life overnight. It whispers, slowly stealing your peace and your focus. You open your phone, see someone who seems ahead, and a quiet voice says, "You're behind." That single thought can drain a day's worth of motivation. You start judging your progress through someone else's timeline, forgetting that what you see is only their highlight reel, not their daily struggle. Comparison tricks you into believing you're failing even when you're growing. It feels harmless, a quick glance, a little envy, a small doubt, but repeated every day, it becomes poison. You begin chasing what others have instead of building what's yours. The mind that constantly measures never creates. It only imitates. You lose your rhythm, your originality, your gratitude. And the more you look outward, the less you can hear your own voice. Soon, every step you take is to prove something instead of to become something. The Stoics warned against this trap centuries ago. Seneca wrote that no man can be happy if he measures himself by what others possess, because the moment you do, you give them power over your emotions. Your joy depends on their success. Your confidence depends on their failure. You become a slave to illusions, chasing shadows that were never yours to begin with. Comparison turns life into a race with no finish line, because there will always be someone younger, richer, faster, or seemingly happier. But what you don't see are the prices they pay, the nights they doubt themselves, the sacrifices behind the curtain. You see the reward, not the process. You see the light, not the cost of burning. The truth is, every person carries their own burden, even the ones you envy. And if you could trade lives, you might beg for your own back. The mind addicted to comparison is like a runner who keeps looking sideways. Every glance distracts, every distraction slows, until they forget the direction altogether. But the person who keeps their eyes forward, one step, one improvement, one honest effort at a time, eventually leaves everyone else behind. Progress isn't built in leaps, it's built in quiet consistency. If you want peace, start measuring yourself only against who you were yesterday. Ask yourself simple, grounded questions. Did I learn something today? Did I control my impulses better than last week? Am I living closer to my principles than before? That's the only comparison that brings strength, because real success isn't beating others, it's mastering yourself. When you focus inward, everything changes. You stop feeling envy and start feeling purpose. You stop craving applause and start craving growth. Your energy returns to what you can control, your habits, your discipline, your attitude. The noise outside fades, and what remains is clarity. The life you want is built, not borrowed. Remember this: the people you admire most didn't reach their level by comparing, they reached it by improving. They spent years invisible, learning, failing, refining. Their greatness was born in silence, long before it was seen. You can do the same. Stop counting what others have, and start counting your repetitions, your days of consistency, your small victories. Comparison feeds insecurity, progress feeds confidence. The first keeps you chasing, the second keeps you grounded. Each time you look at someone else's path, you delay your own. Each time you look inward, you accelerate. So when that voice of comparison appears again, and it will, answer it calmly. I'm not here to compete. I'm here to evolve. That single sentence breaks the chain. Improvement begins the moment comparison ends, because the truth is simple. You can't become your best self while trying to be someone else. Habit 12. Seeking validation instead of mastery. One of the most dangerous traps in modern life is the addiction to validation. People no longer live to build something meaningful. They live to be seen building it. They don't work for excellence, they work for applause. Every action, every opinion, every achievement becomes filtered through the question, will this make others approve of me? That quiet need for recognition can turn any dream into a prison, because the moment you depend on external approval, you stop being free. It starts subtly. You post a photo, share an idea, talk about your progress, and the instant feedback gives you a quick hit of pleasure. You feel valued, visible, accepted. But beneath that rush hides a silent loss. Your focus shifts from creation to reaction. You no longer ask, am I improving? You ask, do they like it? Your work becomes diluted, your decisions predictable, your authenticity fragile. What once came from passion now comes from pressure to please. The Stoics warned of this weakness long before social media existed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Validation seeking is the death of inner peace. When you build your worth on external praise, you give the crowd the power to define your identity. They can lift you up today and destroy you tomorrow, and both will distract you from who you truly are. True mastery, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't chase attention, it earns respect through results. The master doesn't post every step of his progress. He hides in the workshop, repeating, refining, failing, improving. He doesn't need to tell anyone he's disciplined, his results prove it. Mastery requires solitude, patience, and humility. It's built in silence, in the hours no one celebrates, in the repetition that feels invisible but changes everything. When you seek validation, you measure success by how many people notice. When you seek mastery, you measure success by how much you've grown. The first leads to exhaustion because you're always performing. The second leads to fulfillment because you're always improving. One feeds the ego, the other feeds the soul. Look around. We live in a world that rewards appearance more than substance, but those who rise above the noise are always the ones who choose depth over display. The athlete who trains before sunrise, the artist who paints without posting, the student who studies without boasting, they all share a secret. They've detached from needing to be seen. They no longer crave validation because they found something better, meaning. Ask yourself honestly, if no one could ever see your results, would you still work as hard? Would you still learn, refine, and persist? That's the test of real purpose. If your answer is yes, you're already walking the path of mastery. If not, it's time to rebuild your motives. Because as long as your worth depends on applause, you'll live like a puppet, moving only when someone claps. Start small. Create something today without showing anyone. Study something without announcing it. Improve in silence. Each time you do, your self-respect grows, and the hunger for approval fades. You begin to experience a deeper satisfaction, the kind that doesn't depend on likes, praise, or recognition. It comes from knowing you've honored your potential, even if no one else sees it. Mastery isn't about being the best in the world. It's about being the best for your world, the one you build through effort, focus, and self-respect. Stop performing. Start perfecting. Stop chasing attention. Start earning admiration silently. Because when you master your craft, validation becomes irrelevant. People will eventually notice, but by then, you won't need them to. Remember this: applause fades, but mastery stays. The crowd forgets, but excellence remains. True power begins the day you stop asking, "Do they approve?" and start asking, "Did I improve?" Habit 13. Living surrounded by people who keep you small. One of the most dangerous habits, and one of the hardest to notice, is staying close to people who don't want to grow. You might not realize it, but the people you spend most of your time with shape the way you think, influence what you decide, and even define what you see as normal. If your daily conversations are filled with complaints, excuses, and criticism toward those who try to rise higher, you'll end up absorbing that negativity little by little, like a slow poison you don't notice. Over time, you start hiding your dreams so no one calls you proud, lowering your goals so people don't think you're difficult, and accepting a smaller life than the one you could live. That's because mental poverty spreads like an invisible virus. You don't need someone to teach you to doubt yourself. Just hearing fear and blame every day is enough. When you spend time with those who always blame the government, the system, or luck for their situation, their attitude slowly steals your motivation and clouds your vision. Seneca once warned that the behavior of others always leaves a mark on us. This proves that the people around you not only influence your mood, but also stamp their habits, limits, and beliefs on your mind. Imagine a good student who starts spending time with classmates who never study and always fail. No matter how smart that student is, the lazy group's energy starts to drag him down, and soon he'll struggle to resist it. The same thing happens when you're surrounded by people who laugh at big dreams. Before you know it, you begin thinking dreaming is foolish too. Here's the harsh truth: your future is deeply linked to your surroundings. If you keep company with people who mock effort and refuse to change, you'll be pulled down to their level. Not because you lack potential, but because the environment will choke your growth. It's like planting a strong seed in dry, cracked soil. It won't bloom, no matter how good it is. But if you move it to rich soil, life will flourish. That's why you must guard your mind like something sacred. Be wise with who you let into your space and who you give your attention to. Stay close to people who lift you up, who challenge you to do better, who already live the kind of life you aim for. At first it might feel strange, maybe even uncomfortable, but that discomfort means you're leveling up. When you place yourself among great people, what once looked impossible starts to feel normal. You begin to see new doors opening, your standards rise, and soon living small won't satisfy you anymore. The right environment doesn't promise success, but the wrong one guarantees failure. That's the choice before you. Stay chained to circles that hold you down or build one that makes you stronger. And if right now you feel there's no one to inspire you, don't give up. Begin by surrounding yourself with knowledge. Read books that expand your thinking. Listen to voices that make you dream bigger, and fill your mind with ideas that move you forward. Spending time alone for a while is a small price compared to wasting your life beside people who never go anywhere. In the end, the person who protects their mind is really protecting their destiny. And that person will never live in poverty because they've already made the greatest decision of all, never to live below their true potential. Habit 14. Ignoring health and expecting success. Many people chase success as if it was something outside of them, a number, a status, an achievement, forgetting that the very foundation of success is the body that carries them. They want wealth without energy, productivity without rest, focus without nourishment, but no one can build a great life in a weak vessel. Ignoring your health while pursuing success is like trying to climb a mountain while cutting your own rope. You might move for a while, but sooner or later, gravity will remind you of your limits. You can't think clearly when your body is exhausted. You can't make wise decisions when you live on caffeine, stress, and 3 hours of sleep. And yet, this has become the modern badge of honor. To be busy, to skip rest, to grind until burnout feels normal. But fatigue isn't strength. It's a signal. It's your body's way of whispering, "You are using me faster than you are rebuilding me." Ignore that voice long enough and it will scream through illness, anxiety, or breakdown. The Stoics saw the body not as an obstacle to wisdom, but as its foundation. Seneca wrote that the body must be treated with care, not as a master, but as a trusted servant. To neglect it is to weaken the very tool through which the mind acts. You can have the greatest plans in the world, but if your body can't keep up, they die as ideas. A clear mind and a strong body walk hand in hand. One cannot thrive without the other. Health isn't just about avoiding disease, it's about cultivating energy, the kind of steady, calm vitality that fuels discipline. When you sleep well, eat clean, move daily, and breathe deeply, you're not just maintaining your body, you're sharpening your mind. Your thoughts become clearer, your focus stronger, your emotions more stable. Success stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like flow. But modern culture teaches the opposite. It glorifies speed, comfort, and indulgence. Junk food for the body, noise for the mind, distraction for the soul. People scroll themselves to sleep, wake up tired, and then wonder why their motivation fades by noon. You can't live like that and expect clarity. You can't fill your body with chaos and expect your mind to produce order. True discipline begins in the body. It's not just about lifting weights or running miles. It's about learning to listen, to notice when you're tense, when your breathing shortens, when your posture reflects your mood. The body and the mind are mirrors of each other. Neglect one and the other will eventually crack. Start with small corrections. Go to bed 1 hour earlier. Drink water before coffee. Walk for 10 minutes without your phone. Eat something that fuels you instead of numbing you. These small acts are not trivial. They are votes for your future self. Each one says, "I care enough about my mission to protect the machine that drives it." And remember, health isn't selfish, it's strategic. The stronger and calmer you are, the more you can give. You can work better, think clearer, love deeper. You become harder to manipulate and easier to trust. Strength radiates. It's not vanity, it's leadership. People follow those who are centered and alive. Don't wait for sickness to teach you what balance could have prevented. Wealth loses meaning when your body collapses. Success without vitality becomes punishment. The truly rich are those who can wake up with clarity, move without pain, and live with energy to enjoy what they've built. Your health is your first investment, your first form of discipline, your first proof of self-respect. You can't master the world if you can't master the body that moves through it. Treat it like the temple it is. Feed it, rest it, train it, listen to it. Because every goal, every dream, every purpose depends on the same foundation, a body capable of carrying your ambition. Remember this truth: success begins in the bloodstream. When your health thrives, every other part of your life follows. Ignore it, and everything you build will rest on fragile ground. Take care of your body, and your mind will become unshakable. That's not luxury, that's wisdom. Habit 15. Living reactively instead of intentionally. Most people don't live, they react. Their days don't begin with direction, but with distraction. The alarm rings, the phone lights up, and before they've even taken a breath, their mind is already crowded with messages, noise, and demands. They spend their mornings answering instead of deciding, reacting instead of leading. And slowly they forget that life isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. Living reactively means surrendering control of your attention, and your attention is your most valuable currency. Whatever captures it controls you. Each notification pulls a thread of your focus. Each urgent request becomes a leash around your energy. Before you notice, your day no longer belongs to you. It belongs to every distraction strong enough to interrupt you. The danger of reactivity is that it feels productive. You reply to messages, fix problems, jump from task to task, and feel busy. But busy isn't the same as effective. You can spend your whole life solving small fires and never build anything lasting. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you don't have a goal in life, you will end up serving the goals of others." A reactive life is a rented life, lived for everyone but yourself. Intentional living, on the other hand, is quiet strength. It starts with one simple decision: to choose how you spend your time instead of letting others choose for you. It means setting boundaries, not out of selfishness, but out of clarity. It means starting your day by asking, what truly matters today? What can wait? What deserves my energy? These questions sound simple, but they separate the distracted from the disciplined. When you live with intention, you move slower, but with purpose. You learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before answering, to think before committing. You stop chasing urgency and start choosing alignment. You realize that not every problem deserves your presence, not every noise deserves your attention, and not every opinion deserves your response. This calm detachment isn't laziness, it's leadership. It's how you reclaim the steering wheel of your own mind. Modern life worships speed, but wisdom prefers direction. There's no glory in running fast if you're running in circles. True progress comes from knowing where you're going and why. Each morning, take 10 minutes before the world wakes up and define your compass. Write down your top 3 priorities. Not 10, not 20, just 3. Protect them as if your peace depends on it, because it does. Everything else is background noise. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, imagining challenges before they happen, wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. By mentally rehearsing what could go wrong, they strengthened their calm. When the storm arrived, they were already centered. You can do the same. Visualize your day before it starts. Expect interruptions, emotional triggers, and unexpected demands. That way, when they come, they no longer control you. You control your response. A reactive person says, "I didn't have time." An intentional person says, "I didn't prioritize that." The difference is responsibility. One blames circumstance, the other owns their choices. Start designing your life one decision at a time. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set times for deep work. Create spaces for silence and reflection. Reclaim your mornings. Protect your nights. Because if you don't design your days, someone else will, and they'll design them for their benefit, not yours. Living intentionally doesn't mean controlling everything. It means choosing what truly deserves control. It's understanding that peace isn't found in doing more, but in doing what matters most. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I lead my day, or did my day lead me? The answer to that question decides whether you're building your life or merely surviving it. Remember this, your focus is your fate. Guard it well. Habit 16, doubting your own power. The most silent form of poverty is self-doubt. You can have ideas, talent, and opportunity, but if deep down you don't believe you can rise, none of it matters. Doubting yourself is like building a palace on sand. Every time the waves come, it collapses again. Many people live trapped in this invisible prison. They wake up each day carrying dreams in their mind, but chains on their heart. Every decision is followed by hesitation, every ambition by fear, and little by little they begin to shrink into the life they think they deserve, not the one they are capable of. Self-doubt doesn't start loud. It begins quietly, often in childhood, through words that planted limitation. You're not ready. You're not enough. Be realistic. Over time, those voices stop sounding like others. They start sounding like your own. That's the danger. You become your own enemy, cutting down every possibility before it even begins. You stop trying not because you failed, but because you convinced yourself it's pointless to try. But here's what most people never realize. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Every small promise you keep to yourself lays a brick. Every action taken in fear but done anyway adds another. Over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. The Stoics understood this. They didn't believe in blind optimism. They believed in earned confidence, the kind that comes from action, integrity, and persistence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you doubt yourself, you forget that truth. You hand your power to circumstances, to opinions, to chance, but power isn't something the world gives you. It's something you remember you already have. It's the calm conviction that no matter what happens, you can respond with clarity, courage, and adaptability. Life doesn't demand perfection. It demands presence. And presence grows each time you act despite uncertainty. Think about it. Every person you admire once doubted themselves too. Every leader, every artist, every thinker stood at the edge of fear before stepping forward. The difference between them and the rest wasn't the absence of fear. It was the refusal to obey it. They moved while trembling. They spoke while unsure. They acted while uncertain, because they understood that courage isn't the lack of fear. It's action in its presence. When you let doubt win, you live a half-life, one where potential never becomes reality. You start settling for safety, choosing smaller dreams just to avoid disappointment. But the price of that safety is high. It costs your vitality, your purpose, your joy. The more you doubt your strength, the more you outsource your destiny. You begin to depend on others for approval, direction, and validation, until you forget how to decide for yourself. Breaking this habit begins with one choice: to stop treating your fear as fact. Doubt is not a truth, it's a feeling. It can exist without being obeyed. Start by keeping one small promise today. Wake up earlier, finish what you started, speak up once when you'd normally stay silent. Each fulfilled promise whispers back, "See, you can." And those whispers, repeated daily, will one day silence the storm of self-doubt. Remember, belief doesn't come before action, it comes after. You act first, and belief follows. Waiting to feel ready is how most people stay stuck forever. Confidence is built, not granted. Every time you face a challenge and stay standing, your mind updates its understanding of who you are. It begins to trust you again. The world belongs to those who dare, not those who doubt. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You become extraordinary by starting. Stop asking, "Can I?" and start saying, "I'll find out." That's the voice of someone who grows. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your most persuasive enemy. The choice is yours. Don't let old fears write your future. Remember who you are beneath the noise: capable, adaptable, resilient. The Stoics called this inner strength fortitudo, the unshakable spirit that no external force can break. Doubt will always knock, but you don't have to let it in. Stand tall, breathe deep, and remember, every powerful person you see was once a beginner who refused to keep doubting. You have that same fire. You just need to stop hiding it. Your life will only rise to the level of your self-belief, so raise it. Because the day you finally stop doubting your own power is the day your real life begins.